If love is water, then cheating is salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you get, but there's nothing like a lot of salt to keep a body afloat. Drinking salt water seems like a good idea at first, but in a few hours you'll feel ill. That's because your body uses more water to flush salt from its system than it gains water from the salt water. It's all a matter of diminishing returns. You drink and dry out and die. These are the kind of things I thought about in between swim strokes. My thoughts raced from topic to topic. Anything to keep my mind off the sharks. Sharks aren't as dangerous as people think, Captain Mustarian assured me. People can swim with sharks, he said. Can't say that about crocs. Those bastards will eat you every time. Yeah, and it's safer than a sea full of vending machines, I said. It's safer than being in a bathtub, statistically speaking. All you have to do is follow the rules, Captain Mustarian said. Here, take these. He handed me a pair of pink swimming goggles. Then he went on to explain how, while sharks were not as easy to ward off as, say, jellyfish or vending machines, there were a few simple rules to minimize the risk of shark attack. For one, no jewelry, especially gold or silver. You shouldn't even wear the color yellow, since sharks like to chomp onto bright, shiny things. For two, avoid waters where you see small fish jumping or seagulls circling overhead. Sharks are feeding on those fish. That's why they're jumping. The gulls are waiting to pick over the scraps. Unless you want to become one of those scraps, steer clear. 3. Never fart or pee or eat spicy food before swimming. All these scents attract sharks. It goes without saying not to menstruate, but I didn't have to worry about that. What I had to worry about was number 4. Rule number 4? Whatever you do, Captain Mustarian warned me, do not swim as the sun's crossing the horizon. No sundown or sunset swimming, he said. Not with sharks. That's when they're hungry. Naturally, the Princess 2 was scheduled to pull into Sydney at 5:30 a.m. Isn't there something you can do, I asked, about the time we arrive? I mean, why does it have to be so early? Can't you do, I don't know, something? Captain Mustarian struck a thoughtful pose. No, afraid not, mate. We're on a tight schedule here. But you're the captain. Surely you can... Yes, could do. But we'd miss our window. We'd show up in another ship. Why, it'd be in our place. You've got to be kidding me. There's not exactly a lot of parking slots for this baby. But hey, no worries, mate. Captain Mustarian slapped my shoulder. Them sharks? You can always just flip 'em. Flip 'em. He meant flip a shark over on its back, somehow, while swimming. According to Captain Mustarian, that put them right to sleep. Which wasn't an Aussie exaggeration joke either. It was true. Fair dinkum. And so, that was another thing I was thinking in between swim strokes. How, if I ran across a 20-foot, 2.5-ton eating machine, I might just flip it over, in the water, to put it to sleep. Or how, if instead I ran across a bunch of little ones, say 10, 12, 15-footers, I might go about flipping all of them over, one by one, like an assembly line. Flip, 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 flip. I tried to think of something else. For instance, how ridiculous I must look. One pair of pantyhose hoisted up over my navel, another pair pulled down over my shoulders, stretched all the way past my nipples. I had pantyhose covering every inch of my body except my head, like some sort of retarded bank robber. A gay, pink goggle-wearing retarded bank robber. The only thing on my head was the pair of pink goggles Captain Mustarian gave me, which were so tight they just about suctioned out my eyeballs. For the record, I did ask Captain Mustarian why he had so many pairs of pantyhose and pink goggles and so forth. I asked how he'd so badly overestimated the size of his living quarters, and why he hadn't thrown all that extra stuff away. The reason, Captain Mustarian explained, was that all those things in those boxes had belonged to his wife. She died 10 years earlier, which was when he'd left the mainland, in his mind, forever, to make the ocean his permanent home, though he never did get around to unpacking. After that, I had felt obliged to tell Captain Mustarian why I was embarking on my suicide mission, and when I was done, Captain Mustarian said, "If you Yanks were half as crazy about defending that bloody iceberg of yours as you are about chasing after your Sheilas, well, we might just have ourselves a war on our hands." Thinking about extended saltwater analogies and love and what to wear to avoid sharks and how ridiculous that makes you look, and Captain Mustarian's dead wife and madness and war, thinking about all those things worked to keep my mind off the sharks. For a while. In fact, I don't even think I felt that first bite. Doctors would later inform me that anytime you get sliced by lots and lots of razor-sharp teeth all at once, your body dumps loads of endorphins into your bloodstream to anesthetize the pain. I still prefer to think I thought my way through it, but who knows? In any case, the first nibble came about 30 yards from shore. I'd looked down underwater a few times already only to see nothing. Nothing but happy, smiling fishes. I kept my head up a while and swam hard against the waves, kicking and breathing in between strokes. Then, just when I could see the beach and not just the buildings, I felt a tug on my foot, like a friend trying to get my attention. Just a tug, a hand grabbing my ankle, nothing violent. That was the first nibble. I looked down again and back to see the ocean floor rising up from the blackness to a shelf maybe 40 feet below me. And in between me and that shelf, nothing but sharks. That's when I guessed that I'd been bitten on the foot. Not from the pain, but from the color of the water. It was reddening all around me. And the happy, smiling fish, they started jumping out of the water so as not to become snacks. I remember looking at these fish and thinking, thanks a lot. Thanks for the warning, guys. I expect this from seagulls. They're nothing but flying rats. But you're fish. Have some self-respect. I assumed that was panic setting in, or blood loss. The first nibble was what scientists call an exploratory bite. The next one took off my leg just below the knee. I didn't realize it at the time, but in retrospect, I do remember when it happened. Not so much from the pain as from how my swimming slowed down. I remember feeling like I'd lost traction. Then I remember feeling lots of sharks. Sharks gliding past and under me, bumping me, eating. That's when the frenzy started. The last thing I remember, one of the sharks hit me so hard in the ribs that the force flipped me over. And after that, I blacked out. I went to sleep. And my last thought was this: the pantyhose didn't do a goddamn thing.